Every day begins before you speak, before you check your phone, before the world reaches you. The way you wake up decides how you obey or command the day. Most people wake reactive. They let noise shape their thoughts. They let urgency steal control. This audiobook will correct that. You will learn to condition your mind each morning, not with motivation, with discipline. If you master the first hour, you control the remaining 23. Cheetah 1. Stop waking up reactive. Reaction is weakness. Control begins in silence. The first minutes of your day decide the quality of your mind. Most people lose before they stand up. They wake up and reach. Fun, messages, notifications, news, other people's demands, other people's emotions, other people's agendas. And just like that, the day owns them. You have a choice. You can begin reactive, or you can begin in control. When you wake up and grab your phone, you surrender authority. You allow external input to program your state. You allow urgency that is not yours to dictate your pace. That is not strength. That is dependency. You do not need information the second you open your eyes. You need clarity. Control begins in silence. The first rule is simple. No phone, no messages, no news. Nothing reaches you first. You wake in control. That is the standard. This is not about productivity hacks. It is about psychological dominance. When you react first thing in the morning, your nervous system shifts into defense mode. You scan, you respond. You justify, you compare. You explain. You absorb tension that was never yours. You train your brain to serve. Instead, you must train it to lead. You have a choice. The moment you wake up, pause. Stay still. Do not move towards stimulation. Let your breathing settle. Feel your body. Notice the silence. This is your ground. This is your territory. No one has entered yet. Protect it. You don't need their permission to control your morning. Most people fear silence. That is why they reach for noise. Silence exposes the mind. It reveals anxiety. It reveals unfinished thoughts. It reveals lack of direction. Good. Face it. It's not about comfort. It's about discipline. Discipline is not loud. It is quiet. It is a decision repeated daily. When you refuse to check your phone, you are not missing out. You are strengthening restraint. You are building separation between stimulus and response. That separation is power. If you cannot control the first 10 minutes of your day, do not claim you want control over your life. Mastery begins at the smallest level. The morning is the smallest level. Here is the behavior change. Wake up, sit up, breathe slowly. Do nothing for 5 minutes. No input, no scrolling, no conversation. You decide the pace. Then stand up with intention. Drink water. Move your body lightly. Stretch, walk. Keep the environment quiet. You are not hiding from the world. You are setting terms before engaging with it. That's the key. You are not avoiding responsibility. You are choosing the order of engagement. Nothing reaches you first. Say it internally. I wake in control. Nothing reaches me first. I decide the pace. Repetition rewires identity. Identity shapes behavior. Behavior shapes outcome. If the first thing you consume each morning is chaos, you will carry chaos into your decisions. If the first thing you consume is silence, you will carry steadiness into pressure. You have a choice. Some will argue that their job requires instant response. That is rarely true. What is true is that they are addicted to urgency. They feel important when reacting quickly. They fear missing something. They fear being behind. Fear is not leadership. You don't need their permission to respond later. You need standards. Set a boundary. The first 30 minutes of your day belong to you. Non-negotiable. If 30 feels impossible, start with 10. But do not compromise to 0. 0 is surrender. It's not about comfort. It's about discipline. Your mind in the morning is highly suggestible. Whatever enters first imprints deeper. If that imprint is comparison from social media, you begin the day measuring yourself. If that imprint is negative news, you begin the day defensive. If that imprint is a demanding message, you begin the day subordinate. Why would you volunteer for that? Instead, imprint authority. Before you allow any external voice, hear your own. Review your priorities. Mentally outline your top objective for the day. One objective clear, non-emotional. Then visualize yourself executing it calmly. No rush. No panic. You decide the pace. This practice changes your posture. It changes how you walk into rooms. It changes how you answer messages later. You will notice something subtle. When you finally check your phone, you will not feel pulled. You will feel deliberate. You will choose what to answer. You will ignore what is irrelevant. You will not explain your timing. That is control. Reaction feels productive. It is not. It is impulsive. Real productivity is proactive. It begins before the world speaks. You have a choice. Do not confuse stimulation with readiness. Adrenaline is not clarity. Speed is not strength. Volume is not authority. Silence builds authority. When you wake without grabbing your phone, you are sending a signal to yourself. I am not owned. I am not available on demand. I am not controlled by notifications. I wake in control. Nothing reaches me first. This is not about rejecting technology. It is about placing it in hierarchy. Tools serve you. You do not serve tools. That's the key. If you fail one morning, correct it the next. No drama, no guilt. Reset immediately. Discipline is measured in return speed, not perfection. Track this behavior for 30 days. Observe your mood stability. Observe your response quality. Observe your focus depth. You will see a pattern. The mornings you protect are the days you dominate internally. And internal dominance precedes external success. You don't need their permission to structure your morning differently. You do not need validation for boundaries. You do not need to justify delayed responses. You need self-respect. It's not about comfort. It's about discipline. Comfort says check the phone. Discipline says wait. Comfort says see what happened. Discipline says decide what will happen. Comfort says react. Discipline says lead. You have a choice. Each morning is a test. Not of willpower alone, of identity. Are you someone who wakes and serves the noise? Or someone who wakes and sets direction? I decide the pace. Say it until it becomes default. When control begins in silence, your actions carry weight. Your words slow down. Your decisions sharpen. You stop chasing. You start directing. This is the transformation. Stop waking up reactive. Start waking up deliberate. Strong takeaway. If you cannot control the first moments of your day, you will spend the rest of it compensating. Protect the morning. Guard the silence. Establish authority before exposure. I wake in control. Nothing reaches me first. I decide the pace. Next, we will address what happens after you claim your morning. How to eliminate distraction during the day and sustain control under pressure. HDR 2. When the first 5 minutes momentum is not built later. It is built immediately. The first 5 minutes after you wake up determine your standard for action. Most people lose here. They hesitate. They scroll. They lie still. They negotiate with comfort. That delay weakens identity. You have a choice. You either move instantly, or you train yourself to stall. Winning the first 5 minutes is not dramatic. It is mechanical. The alarm ends. You sit up. Immediately, no pause. No mental debate. No checking the phone. No replaying dreams. No bargaining. You sit up. I move without delay. This is not about intensity. It is about obedience to your own command. When you decide to move and then move without hesitation, you strengthen self-trust. When you decide to move and then delay, you weaken it. Self-trust is built in seconds. That's the key. The body must move before the mind begins its excuses. The longer you lie there, the louder the negotiation becomes. 5 more minutes. It's cold. You deserve rest. You do not negotiate. Action comes first. The behavior change is simple. Alarm ends, eyes open. Sit up immediately. Then breathe. Slow inhale through the nose. Slow exhale through the mouth. Feel the weight of your body. Feel your feet on the floor. Feel the air on your skin. Ground yourself physically before engaging mentally. This anchors you. When you sit up immediately, you send a signal. I act when I say I will act. There is no delay between decision and execution. That separation is weakness, you remove it. I move without delay. People believe momentum starts with big achievements. It does not. It starts with posture, with breath, with movement. When your first act of the day is decisive, the rest of the day follows that rhythm. When your first act is hesitation, that rhythm spreads too. You have a choice. Lying in bed is not neutral. It is rehearsal. You rehearse either action or avoidance. The brain does not distinguish between small and large commitments. It only registers pattern. Pattern becomes identity. If your pattern is delay, you become someone who delays. If your pattern is immediate action, you become someone who executes. Action comes first. Do not overcomplicate this. You are not required to leap out of bed aggressively. You are required to sit up without hesitation, calm, direct, certain, then breathe. Breathing is control. It steadies the nervous system. It pulls you out of fog. It prevents reactive thought from taking over. 3 to 5 deep breaths. That is enough. Not dramatic, not spiritual, functional. Ground your body. Place your feet flat on the floor. Feel the pressure. Notice your spine. Straighten it. Lift your head. You are establishing physical authority before engaging the world. It's not about comfort. It's about discipline. Comfort says stay horizontal. Discipline says rise. Comfort says delay the day. Discipline says begin it. I do not negotiate. The negotiation is subtle. It sounds reasonable. Just a minute. Just a scroll. Just a stretch under the blanket. That is where momentum dies. You end it before it starts. When you move immediately, something shifts. The mind realizes it cannot overrule instruction. You become less emotional about tasks. You become less dramatic about effort. You stop waiting to feel ready. Readiness follows action, never the other way around. That's the key. You are not trying to feel motivated. You are trying to be decisive. Motivation is unstable. Decision is stable. I move without delay. The first 5 minutes are a microcosm of your leadership. If you lead yourself poorly there, you will compensate all day. You will need caffeine to spark you, noise to stimulate you, deadlines to pressure you. Or you can generate momentum instantly. You have a choice. Standards remove thinking. If the rule is, sit up immediately, there is nothing to evaluate. You do not check how tired you are. You do not assess mood. You execute. I do not negotiate. Negotiation is acceptable in business, not with weakness. The moment you start bargaining with inertia, you lower authority. The body learns that commands are optional. Make them final. After you sit up and breathe, stand smoothly, not rushed, not lazy, controlled. This completes the first cycle of momentum. From lying down to upright, from passive to active, from asleep to engaged. That transition matters. Action comes first. Notice what you are building. You are building a reflex. Alarm equals movement. No friction, no delay. Over time, it becomes automatic. That automation frees mental energy for higher-level decisions. But it starts with discipline. It's not about comfort. It's about discipline. Do this every day, especially on days you feel tired, especially on days you feel unmotivated. Those are the days that matter most. Anyone can move when energized. Strength is measured when you are not. You have a choice. If you fail, correct it the next morning. No emotion, no self-criticism. Just tighten the standard. The rule remains unchanged. I move without delay. Momentum does not require intensity. It requires immediacy. Once you are upright and grounded, the next action becomes easier. Wash your face. Drink water. Begin your structured routine. The chain has started. Chains create days. Days create identity. Identity creates outcomes. You do not negotiate. Every morning you win the first 5 minutes. You strengthen resolve. You reduce internal argument. You build a bias toward execution. That bias will appear later in conversations, in workouts, in business decisions. It all traces back to the first command you obeyed. Sit up, breathe, ground your body. Action comes first. Strong takeaway. Momentum is created the moment you move without hesitation. The first 5 minutes are your proving ground. Sit up immediately. Breathe deeply. Place your feet on the floor. Refuse negotiation. I move without delay. Action comes first. I do not negotiate. Strategy R3. Eliminate morning decisions. Decisions drain discipline. Not the big decisions, the small ones. What time should I wake up? Should I snooze? What should I wear? What should I do first? Coffee now or later? Workout or skip? Each question costs energy. Before your day even begins, you are already spending willpower. That is inefficient. You have a choice. You can design your mornings once, or you can redesign them every day. The second option weakens you. Discipline is not tested by complexity. It is tested by repetition. When you wake up and immediately face multiple choices, you introduce friction. Friction creates hesitation. Hesitation creates inconsistency. Consistency builds power. My mornings are automatic. That is the standard. Behavior change is simple. Same wake time, same first movement, same sequence, no variation. You remove decision from the equation. You wake at 600 every day, not 600 on weekdays and 7:30 on weekends, not 600 when motivated and 6:45 when tired. Fixed means fixed. Structure creates freedom. People misunderstand freedom. They believe freedom means options. In reality, options exhaust you. The more choices you face early, the more depleted you become before meaningful work begins. Structure protects energy. When your wake time is fixed, there is no internal debate. The alarm goes off. You rise. The rule has already been made. You are not deciding in the moment. You are executing a pre-made decision. That's the key. Pre-decide your wake time. Pre-decide your first 5 minutes. Sequence removes chaos. For example, wake, sit up, breathe, stand, wash, dress, hydrate, move. The order does not matter as much as the consistency. Once chosen, it does not change. My mornings are automatic. Automation is strength. When actions become automatic, they no longer consume mental bandwidth. You preserve your highest focus for meaningful decisions later in the day. I conserve willpower. Willpower is limited. You may not feel it draining, but it does. Every minor decision taps into it. By the time you face a difficult task, you are already compromised. Eliminate unnecessary choice. Wear the same type of clothing each morning. Eat the same breakfast. Follow the same order of actions. You are not reducing creativity. You are protecting it for where it matters. Structure creates freedom. Freedom is not waking up and asking, "What do I feel like doing?" Freedom is having the mental clarity to attack important work without friction. You have a choice. If your mornings feel unpredictable, that is not personality, that is poor design. High performers do not rely on mood. They rely on systems. Systems remove emotion. When the structure is fixed, your identity stabilizes. You stop seeing yourself as someone who trees, to wake up early or trees, to stay consistent. You become someone who does. My mornings are automatic. Repetition removes doubt. If you wake at different times each day, your body never adapts. Your mind never locks into rhythm. You constantly renegotiate. That negotiation drains authority. I conserve willpower. Think of willpower as a battery. Every decision drains it slightly. Checking messages, choosing music, deciding whether to stretch. Each micro-choice costs something. You can preserve that charge. Choose once. Repeat daily. It's not about comfort. It's about discipline. Discipline loves repetition. Ego loves variation. Ego wants novelty. It wants to feel spontaneous. Discipline wants stability. It wants efficiency. You must decide which one leads. Structure creates freedom. When your morning sequence is fixed, you move faster without rushing. You do not stand in your room thinking about what comes next. You already know. The body flows from one action to another. That flow is controlled. You have a choice. Either you waste cognitive energy early, or you invest it later where it compounds. I conserve willpower. This principle extends beyond waking time. Prepare the night before. Lay out clothes. Set water beside your bed. Clear your environment. Reduce friction before sleep so that morning requires no thought. Design eliminates struggle. The goal is not rigidity for its own sake. The goal is efficiency. When your mornings require minimal thinking, you reserve mental sharpness for strategy, leadership, and execution. My mornings are automatic. Automatic does not mean unconscious. It means practiced. Intentional repetition until no effort is required. That's the key. You are not removing freedom from your life. You are relocating it. Freedom shifts from trivial morning choices to meaningful daily outcomes. Structure creates freedom. If you find yourself debating in the morning, that is a signal something is not fixed. Tighten it. Clarify it. Lock it in. Wake time is fixed. First action is fixed. Sequence is fixed. No daily redesign. I conserve willpower. Over time, this builds a calm edge. You will notice fewer internal arguments. Less chaos. More smooth execution. By the time others are still deciding how to begin, you are already operating. That advantage is earned through repetition. You have a choice. Eliminate morning decisions, and you eliminate unnecessary fatigue. Preserve energy for what matters. Protect your discipline from trivial drains. Strong takeaway decisions deplete discipline before the day begins. Remove them. Fix your wake time. Fix your sequence. Repeat it daily until it becomes identity. My mornings are automatic. Structure creates freedom. I conserve willpower. Shiap TR4. Condition the mind before the world speaks. Input determines direction. Whatever enters your mind first begins steering it. Thoughts follow input. Emotions follow thoughts. Actions follow emotions. By the time you notice your behavior, the direction has already been set. Most people surrender that direction immediately. Notifications, headlines, opinions, demands. They let the world speak first. That is a mistake. You have a choice. You can condition your mind deliberately, or you can let it be conditioned by default. Default conditioning is weak conditioning. I choose my inputs. The morning mind is highly impressionable. It is open. It is suggestible. This is not a flaw. It is leverage. Used correctly, it sharpens focus. Used carelessly, it scatters it. Silence sharpens focus. Silence is not empty, it is preparation. When you sit without external noise, you hear your own direction more clearly. You identify priorities. You notice tension, you regain command. Behavior changes controlled input only. Silence. Journaling. Intentional reading. Nothing else. No random scrolling. No commentary. No breaking news. No external emotional energy. My mind is guarded. Guarded does not mean closed. It means selective. You decide what earns entry. You filter what is allowed influence. You do not expose your attention to everything available. Attention is limited. Guard it. You have a choice. Silence is the foundation. Even 5 minutes changes tone. Sit upright. Breathe steadily. Let thoughts settle. Do not chase them. Do not entertain them. Observe and release. This stabilizes you. From that stability, choose your next input deliberately. Journaling is powerful because it forces internal clarity before external exposure. Write with structure. What must be done today? What attitude is required? What distractions must be rejected? Keep it direct. Keep it brief. I choose my inputs. When you write your priorities first, you reduce the impact of outside demands later. You already know what matters. You are less likely to be pulled into trivial tasks. That's the key. Direction must be established internally before it is challenged externally. Controlled reading is the third option. Not news, not commentary, not entertainment. Read something aligned with growth, skill, or strategy. Material that strengthens thinking, not inflames emotion. Input determines direction. If you read fear-driven content, you will operate defensively. If you read reactive opinions, you will carry agitation. If you read structured insight, you will carry clarity. Choose wisely. Silence sharpens focus. Focus is not created by trying harder. It is created by reducing noise. Noise competes for cognitive space. It fragments attention. Fragmented attention weakens execution. You eliminate noise early. My mind is guarded. Guarding your mind requires discipline. The world is loud. Algorithms are designed to provoke. Headlines are designed to trigger. Messages are designed to demand immediate response. You are not required to engage instantly. You have a choice. Condition first. Engage later. If your first input is a complaint, you begin defensive. If your first input is comparison, you begin insecure. If your first input is urgency, you begin rushed. Why would you allow that? Instead, establish mental posture before exposure. Decide your standards. Decide your tone, decide your pace. I choose my inputs. This is not about isolation. It is about sequence. You will engage with the world, but you will do it from a position of control, not vulnerability. Silence sharpens focus. Silence trains patience. Patience strengthens discipline. Discipline sustains execution. It begins here. Make this a rule. No external input until your internal direction is written or confirmed. That may take 10 minutes. It may take 20. The duration is less important than the order. Internal first, external second. My mind is guarded. Guarded minds are stable. Stable minds execute consistently. Consistency compounds results. You have a choice. The world will always have something urgent to say. It will always present new outrage, new drama, new distraction. If you allow it to define your mental state each morning, you will live in reaction. Conditioning prevents that. Write down 3 intentions for the day. Not vague aspirations, specific behaviors. Focused outcomes, clear standards. This clarifies direction before influence arrives. That's the key. Direction must precede exposure. If you skip this step, you will spend the day adjusting to external forces. If you complete it, you will measure external forces against your internal plan. That difference is authority. I choose my inputs. You do not need to consume everything available. You do not need to know everything immediately. You do not need to respond instantly. You need clarity. Silence sharpens focus. When your mind is conditioned early, distractions lose power. Emotional triggers weaken. You see urgency without absorbing it. You evaluate before reacting. My mind is guarded. Guarded does not mean rigid. It means disciplined. It means aware of influence. It means intentional about exposure. Input determines direction. Choose silence. Choose clarity. Choose structured thought. Then engage. Strong takeaway. Your mind will move in the direction of its first inputs. Protect that direction. Begin in silence. Write with intent. Read with purpose. Refuse uncontrolled exposure. I choose my inputs. Silence sharpens focus. My mind is guarded. Chapter 5. Use the body to command the mind. The body influences the mind more than the mind influences the body. Posture changes thought. Breathing changes emotion. Movement changes state. If you wake up and remain physically passive, your mind drifts. If you wake up and activate your body, your mind follows. Physical movement resets mental authority. This is not philosophy. It is mechanics. You have a choice. You can try to think your way into focus, or you can move your way into it. Thinking alone is unreliable in the morning. The mind is foggy. It negotiates. It searches for comfort. The body, however, responds immediately to command. Use that. My body leads my mind. Behavior change is direct. Stretch. Expose yourself to cold water. Complete light training, not extreme. Not exhausting, intentional. Movement creates clarity. Start simple. After your fixed wake time and controlled conditioning, stand and move. 5 to 15 minutes is enough. Walk outside if possible. Feel the air. Let your arms swing naturally. Keep your spine upright. Breathe deeply. Walking organizes thought. It regulates rhythm. It signals alertness to the nervous system. Clarity improves. You are not exercising for aesthetics. You are training authority. When you move your body deliberately, you interrupt mental noise. You shift from internal chatter to physical execution. My body leads my mind. Stretching works the same way. Tight muscles hold tension. Tension clouds thinking. Slow, controlled stretches release physical restriction and reduce mental agitation. Move your neck. Roll your shoulders. Open your hips. Lengthen your spine. Do it with focus. No distractions. Movement creates clarity. Cold water is another tool. Brief exposure. 30 seconds to 2 minutes. Cold forces presence. It demands breath control. It sharpens alertness instantly. When the water hits, you do not drift, you breathe, you stabilize. That is authority. I wake with strength. Light training builds even more command. Push-ups, squats, planks, controlled body weight work, not to exhaustion. Enough to elevate heart rate and awaken muscle. The goal is activation, not depletion. You have a choice. If you remain still too long after waking, inertia builds, inertia spreads, you become slower in speech, slower in thought, slower in execution. Break inertia early. Physical movement resets your baseline. It increases circulation. It increases oxygen flow. It increases alertness. The result is sharper cognition without forcing it. Movement creates clarity. Do not wait to feel ready to move. Movement creates readiness. This principle must be reversed in your mind. You do not move because you feel strong. You feel strong because you move. My body leads my mind. Many people attempt to command their thoughts directly. They sit and try to focus harder. They attempt to silence distraction with willpower alone. That approach is inefficient. The body is the lever. When your shoulders are back, your breathing steady, your muscles active, your mental posture changes automatically. You think more decisively. You speak more clearly. You tolerate discomfort better. I wake with strength. Strength in the morning is not loud. It is controlled. It is deliberate motion. It is breathing under tension. It is finishing a small physical challenge before the day challenges you. That's the key. You create controlled discomfort before uncontrolled stress appears. Cold water teaches composure. Training teaches endurance. Walking teaches rhythm. Stretching teaches release. All of them reinforce authority. You have a choice. You can allow external stress to dictate your physical state later, or you can establish your state early through movement. When the body is activated, you are less reactive. You are less sluggish. You are less emotionally volatile. Physical discipline stabilizes mental discipline. My body leads my mind. Make this part of your fixed sequence. Condition mind. Move body, same order every day. Structure creates momentum. Even on days you feel tired, move. Especially on those days. Fatigue is often mental resistance disguised as physical limitation. Light movement dissolves that resistance. Movement creates clarity. You are not training for performance metrics here. You are training identity. You are proving to yourself that you can generate strength on demand. That proof compounds. I wake with strength. Notice the difference after movement. Thoughts align faster. Priorities feel clearer. Emotional spikes reduce. You are more centered. This is not accidental. It is physiological. Use it intentionally. You have a choice. If you skip movement, you begin reactive. If you engage movement, you begin assertive. The body sets tone before the world intervenes. Command your body first. The mind will follow. Strong takeaway. Mental authority is reinforced through physical action. Walk. Stretch. Use cold water. Train lightly. Do it daily. My body leads my mind. Movement creates clarity. I wake with strength. Chia 6. Define one none. Negotiable task. Anxiety grows in vagueness. When your day feels undefined, your mind scans for threats. It sees unfinished work everywhere. It senses pressure without direction. That pressure turns into stress. Clarity removes anxiety. One decisive action removes uncertainty. You do not need a perfect plan for the entire day. You need one commitment that will be completed without negotiation. You have a choice. You can scatter your focus across many tasks, or you can anchor your day to one outcome. Scattered focus creates tension. Anchored focus creates control. One task, no excuses. This is the behavior change. Each morning, define one task that must be completed before the day ends. Not 10, not 5, 1. Specific, measurable, actionable. But complete section 3. Not get in shape, but finish 30 minutes of training. Not handle emails, but clear priority inbox to 0. Clarity reduces friction. Progress is simple. When everything feels urgent, Nothing feels controllable. Your brain struggles to prioritize. You hesitate. You delay. Anxiety increases because the load feels undefined. One task solves this. It creates a focal point. It gives the day structure. It establishes a clear win condition. When that condition is met, momentum rises naturally. I finish what matters. This is not about ignoring other responsibilities. It is about hierarchy. One task holds the highest leverage. It moves something forward meaningfully. It reduces pressure if completed. Choose that. You have a choice. Either let the day decide what matters, or decide in advance. If you let the day decide, you will default to reactive work, emails, messages. Minor requests, you will feel busy but unfinished. Busy does not remove anxiety, completion does. One task, no excuses. Once defined, schedule it. Assign a clear time block. Protect it. Do not start the day with minor tasks and hope to get to it later. Later rarely comes with strength. Strength is highest early. Progress is simple. When you focus on one meaningful outcome, your mind relaxes. It understands the objective. It stops juggling priorities. It channels effort into execution. This reduces internal noise. Many people try to reduce anxiety by doing more. That is backwards. Anxiety reduces when you simplify. One decisive action. You do not need to complete everything today. You need to complete what matters most. I finish what matters. Completion builds confidence. Confidence reduces hesitation. Reduced hesitation increases speed. Speed increases output. But it starts small. You have a choice. If you choose 3 non-negotiables, you dilute the word. Non-negotiable means singular priority. If circumstances truly prevent completion, you reschedule intentionally. You do not abandon it casually. Guard the standard. One task, no excuses. This discipline trains focus. It also trains emotional stability. When distractions appear, you measure them against your non-negotiable. If they do not outrank it, they wait. This simplifies decisions. Progress is simple. The mind craves completion. When days end without clear wins, dissatisfaction grows. That dissatisfaction compounds. It becomes chronic stress. Avoid that. Finish one meaningful task daily. Over time, that becomes hundreds of completed outcomes. The scale increases, but the principle remains identical. One, you have a choice. Define your day by deliberate action, or let it be defined by reaction. The non-negotiable task must stretch you slightly. Not impossible, not trivial. It should require focus and effort. Enough to matter. Enough to create advancement. When you complete it, acknowledge it internally. Not with emotion, with recognition. The standard was set. The standard was met. I finish what matters. Do not confuse activity with importance. Many tasks will appear urgent. Few will truly move you forward. Your responsibility is to distinguish. That's the key. Distinguishing removes overload. Write the task down, keep it visible. Return to it if attention drifts. Protect its time block. Close unrelated tabs, silence notifications. Execute. One task, no excuses. The simplicity is intentional. Complexity overwhelms. Simplicity strengthens. When progress feels manageable, resistance decreases. When resistance decreases, consistency increases. Progress is simple. Anxiety often comes from open loops, unfinished commitments, undefined goals, vague expectations. A single defined task closes one major loop. That closure calms the system. You have a choice. You can end each day uncertain about what was achieved, or you can end it knowing the most important objective was completed. Choose certainty. I finish what matters. When this habit becomes automatic, productivity stabilizes, stress lowers, confidence increases. You begin trusting yourself more deeply because promises are kept daily. That trust compounds. Strong takeaway: anxiety fades when clarity increases. Define one non-negotiable task each morning. Protect it. Complete it, no dilution, no negotiation, one task, no excuses. Progress is simple. I finish task 7, kill rush. Replace with pace. Rushing feels productive. It is not. Rush is uncontrolled urgency. It fragments thinking. It tightens the body. It shortens breath. It narrows awareness. Decisions become reactive. mistakes increase. Calm speed outperforms chaotic urgency. Speed is efficient. Rush is emotional. You must remove rush from your identity. You have a choice. You can move fast and controlled, or fast and scattered. Scattered always loses. I move with intent. Intent creates precision. Precision reduces error. Reduced error saves time. When you rush, you believe you are gaining time. In reality, you are creating rework, confusion, and tension. Calm is power. Power does not look frantic. It looks steady. It looks deliberate. It looks unbothered by pressure. Behavior change is physical first. Slow your movements. Control your speech. Eliminate unnecessary rushing. Walk at a measured pace. Sit down without collapsing. Stand up without jerking. Reach for objects deliberately. Close doors quietly. These details matter. Your body teaches your mind how to operate. I control the tempo. When your physical tempo is stable, your mental tempo follows. Breath deepens. Thoughts organize. Speech becomes clear. You stop overlapping tasks unnecessarily. Multitasking is disguised panic. Do one thing at a time. Complete it cleanly. Move to the next. This is calm speed. You have a choice. Rushing often comes from fear. Fear of being behind. Fear of judgment. Fear of missing out. That fear leaks into your posture and voice. Remove the fear. You do not need to prove urgency to demonstrate importance. Calm is power. Controlled speech is critical. When you speak quickly, words blur. Authority drops. You sound reactive. Slow your cadence. Pause between sentences. Allow silence to exist. Silence signals control. I move with intent. Intentional movement reduces internal chaos. When you rush through your morning routine, you carry that tempo into work. When you rush through conversations, you carry that tone into relationships. Tempo spreads. Kill rush early. If you notice yourself speeding up unnecessarily, pause. Take one slow breath. Relax your shoulders. Continue at a measured pace. This interruption resets your state. I control the tempo. Tempo is leadership. The person who controls tempo controls the room. If you allow external pressure to dictate your pace, you surrender authority. Deadlines require efficiency. They do not require panic. Efficiency is structured. Panic is scattered. You have a choice. Rushing is often habitual. It feels normal. You may not notice it. That is why awareness matters. Notice your footsteps. Notice how quickly you respond to messages. Notice how fast you eat. Notice how you transition between tasks. Slow slightly. Not sluggish, controlled. Calm is power. When you operate with calm speed, others adjust to you. Conversations become clearer. Instructions become sharper. Mistakes reduce. Energy stabilizes. You conserve strength. Rushing burns energy rapidly. It increases stress hormones. It creates fatigue. By midday, you feel drained not because of workload, but because of tempo. Lower the tempo, raise the precision. I move with intent. Intent does not waste motion. It eliminates excess. Excess words, excess steps, excess reactions. When you remove excess, speed improves naturally. This is the paradox. The calmer you are, the faster you become. You have a choice. Before starting any task, take one breath. Confirm the objective. Then begin. Do not jump in mid-thought. Do not start half-prepared. That initial pause creates structure. Structure prevents chaos. I control the tempo. If someone else is rushed, do not mirror them. Maintain your rhythm. Move steadily. Let them adjust. Emotional contagion is real, so is emotional discipline. Calm is power. This does not mean moving slowly at all times. It means eliminating frantic energy. There is a difference between urgency and intensity. Intensity can be quiet. Urgency is loud. Choose quiet intensity. I move with intent. When your tempo is stable, decision quality increases. You see options more clearly. You react less emotionally. You recover from mistakes faster. You waste less time. Rushing often creates the very delay you are trying to avoid. A missed detail, a miscommunication, a forgotten step. All because you refuse to slow slightly at the start. That's the key. Slow is smooth. Smooth is fast. You have a choice. Replace rush with pace. Replace panic with precision. Replace scattered motion with controlled execution. I control the tempo. Make this visible in small actions today. Walk slightly slower than your impulse. Speak slightly slower than your habit. Transition between tasks with a breath, not a jump. Kill rush. Calm is power. Strong takeaway. Rushing weakens clarity and drains energy. Calm speed multiplies effectiveness. Slow your movements. Control your speech. Refuse frantic energy. I move with intent. Calm is power. I control the tempo. JTR 8. Train repetition, not motivation. Intensity is attractive. Consistency is effective. Most people wait to feel ready. They wait for energy. They wait for inspiration. When it arrives, they act hard and fast. When it disappears, they disappear with it. That pattern guarantees instability. Consistency beats intensity, always. You are not training for occasional greatness. You are training for daily reliability. You have a choice. You can depend on motivation, or you can depend on repetition. Motivation fluctuates. Repetition stabilizes. I show up regardless. This is the behavior change. Same routine, even on low-energy days. Especially on low-energy days. Wake at the same time. Follow the same sequence. Move your body. Define your task. Execute your block. No adjustment based on mood. Mood is irrelevant. Energy will vary. Sleep will vary. Circumstances will vary. Your standards do not vary. When you only perform at high energy, you condition inconsistency. You teach yourself that output depends on feeling. That belief weakens discipline. Discipline is repetition. Repetition removes negotiation. The action becomes automatic. You do not ask whether you feel like doing it. You do it because it is the standard. That's the key. Standards eliminate debate. Low-energy days are tests, not of performance level, of commitment level. The goal is not to perform at maximum intensity when tired. The goal is to perform at minimum acceptable standard without fail. There is always a minimum. You have a choice. If your normal training session is 40 minutes, maybe today it is 20. But it happens. If your deep work block is 90 minutes, maybe today it is 60. But it happens. You reduce volume. You do not remove action. I show up regardless. Showing up builds identity. Identity drives behavior. When you see yourself as someone who never misses, internal resistance weakens over time. Missing once makes missing easier. Repeating once makes repeating easier. Discipline is repetition. Do not confuse intensity with effectiveness. Extreme effort once a week does not outperform moderate effort daily. The body adapts to frequency. The mind adapts to predictability. Predictability strengthens control. Mood is irrelevant. Your mood is a temporary chemical state. It shifts hourly. If your routine depends on it, your results will mirror its instability. Detach action from emotion. On low-energy days, simplify focus. Remove unnecessary friction. Tighten execution. Move deliberately. Accept that output may be slightly lower. But do not break the chain. You have a choice. Break the chain for comfort, or maintain the chain for growth. Chains create strength. Repetition may feel boring. That is acceptable. Boredom is not a threat. In fact, boredom often signals mastery and progress. The ego craves novelty. Discipline craves consistency. Choose discipline. I show up regardless. When repetition becomes identity, motivation becomes irrelevant. You may still feel motivated at times. That is a bonus. It is not the engine. Discipline is repetition. Even on days when everything feels heavy, complete the basics. Wake, move, focus. Execute one task. Close the day intentionally. You are training reliability, not excitement. Mood is irrelevant. Some days will feel powerful. Do not overextend simply because you feel strong. Stay within structure. Protect sustainability. Intensity that leads to burnout is disguised weakness. Steady is superior. You have a choice. Operate in cycles of extreme effort and collapse, or operate in a rhythm of stable repetition. Rhythm wins. Repetition reduces decision fatigue. It reduces emotional spikes. It builds quiet confidence. You stop wondering whether you can follow through. You already know. Because you always do. I show up regardless. Track your consistency, not your motivation. Mark each day the routine was completed. Over time, the visual record reinforces identity. You become the person who does not break patterns easily. That identity is powerful. Discipline is repetition. Do not glamorize intense bursts. Glamour fades. Systems remain. Build a system you can execute even when tired, stressed, or distracted. That is resilience. Mood is irrelevant. There will be days when you want to skip. Notice the thought. Do not argue with it. Execute anyway. The faster you move into action, the weaker resistance becomes. Action dissolves doubt. You have a choice. Allow emotions to dictate behavior, or allow standards to dictate behavior. Standards build stability. I show up regardless. Strong takeaway intensity is temporary. Repetition is transformative. Execute the same routine even on low-energy days. Reduce volume if necessary, but never remove the action. Discipline is repetition. Mood is irrelevant. I show up regardless. CTR 9. Protect the morning at all costs. What you protect defines your priorities. You say something matters, but protection proves it. If your morning is constantly interrupted, negotiated, or surrendered, then it is not a priority. It is a preference. Preferences are fragile. Priorities are defended. Your edge is built in the morning. Lose the morning. Lose the edge. You have a choice. You can defend it, or you can donate it. Donation happens quietly. A quick favor. A small request. An early call. A message that can't wait. One exception becomes a pattern. Patterns weaken structure. My morning is sacred. Sacred does not mean dramatic. It means non-negotiable. It means guarded. It means respected first by you, then by others. Behavior change is clear. Boundaries. No distractions. The morning is reserved for your conditioning, your movement, your non-negotiable task. Not for someone else's urgency. Not for casual conversation. Not for reactive problem solving. Access is limited. If people can reach you instantly every morning, they will. Not because they are malicious, because you allowed it. Access expands to fill available space. Limit the space. Turn off notifications. Silence group chats. Do not schedule meetings in your protected window. If necessary, communicate clearly unavailable during these hours. You do not need permission to set this boundary. I protect my edge. Your edge is your clarity, your momentum, your discipline. It is built when your energy is highest and your focus is sharpest. Giving that away early is strategic weakness. You have a choice. Start the day strengthening yourself, or start it servicing others. Service has its place. It does not own your first hour. Many people sabotage their mornings with small compromises. A quick scroll, a brief favor, a short call. None seem significant alone. Together, they erode structure. Erosion is subtle. My morning is sacred. If something is sacred, it is defended automatically. You do not debate whether to protect it. You act. Boundaries are not hostility. They are clarity. When you set them calmly and consistently, others adjust. If you bend them inconsistently, others push further. Consistency teaches people how to treat you. Access is limited. This applies digitally and physically. Do not open the door to distraction. Do not wander into conversations that dilute focus. Do not consume content that destabilizes your mental state. You are not hiding. You are preparing. I protect my edge. The morning is leverage. It sets trajectory. If trajectory is compromised, correction requires effort later. Prevention is easier than repair. Protect early. Move forward smoothly. You have a choice. If someone requests your time during your protected window, evaluate it against your standard. Is it urgent? Truly urgent? Or merely convenient for them? Convenience does not outrank discipline. Say no without explanation beyond what is necessary. Short, direct, respectful. Over-explaining invites negotiation. Boundaries do not require justification. My morning is sacred. Distractions are often disguised as opportunity. A new idea, a sudden request, a quick collaboration. If it disrupts your foundation, it weakens you. There will always be more opportunities. There is only one foundation each day. Protect it. Access is limited. When you guard your mornings, something shifts internally. You feel stronger. more deliberate, less available for nonsense. That feeling compounds. Strength attracts respect. I protect my edge. Do not confuse flexibility with strength. Flexibility in values becomes weakness. Flexibility in execution is different. Your values remain firm. Your sequence remains intact. Morning discipline is a value. You have a choice. Treat it casually, or treat it as strategic advantage. The world is loud. Demands are constant. Without boundaries, you will live in permanent reaction. With boundaries, you choose when to engage. Engagement on your terms is power. My morning is sacred. If you fail to protect it one day, correct immediately the next. Do not let exceptions become trends. Review what breached your boundary. Adjust systems, tighten controls. Protection requires awareness. Access is limited. Limit conversations, limit media, limit favors, limit exposure. Expansion comes after preparation, never before. I protect my edge. This is not selfishness. It is responsibility. When you are centered, focused, and disciplined, you serve better later. But if you deplete yourself early, you bring diluted energy to everything. Protect first, give later. You have a choice. Defend your morning with calm firmness. Guard it as you would guard your most valuable asset, because it is. Strong takeaway: what you protect reveals what you value. If your growth matters, set boundaries. Refuse distractions, limit access. My morning is sacred. Access is limited. I protect my edge. Become the same person every morning. Identity is not declared. It is demonstrated. Not once, not occasionally, daily. You are not defined by your intentions. You are defined by your repeated behavior, especially when no one is watching. Morning is the purest test. No audience, no applause, no pressure. Just you and your standard. You have a choice. Act according to mood, or act according to identity. Identity is built through repetition. If you are disciplined only when observed, you are performing. If you are disciplined when alone, you are transforming. I am consistent. Consistency is not loud. It does not require recognition. It does not fluctuate with praise or criticism. It shows up the same way every morning. Wake, move, condition, execute. No variation based on visibility. When you become the same person every morning, you eliminate internal friction. There is no debate about who you are that day. There is no question about your standard. The decision has already been made. I am reliable. Reliability begins with self. If you cannot rely on yourself in private, you will struggle to rely on yourself in public. Trust is internal before it is external. You build that trust quietly. When the alarm rings and you rise, you reinforce it. When you complete your non-negotiable task, you reinforce it. When you protect your boundaries, you reinforce it. Reinforcement becomes identity. You have a choice. Be inconsistent in private and polished in public, or be aligned in both. Alignment creates strength. Act the same whether watched or alone. That is the behavior change, the same posture, the same discipline, the same pace, the same structure. No shortcuts because no one sees. Character is revealed in solitude. I trust myself. Self-trust grows when promises are kept repeatedly, not dramatic promises. Small daily commitments: wake time, movement, focus block, completion. Each kept promise strengthens your foundation. Each broken promise weakens it. Identity is cumulative. You do not become disciplined through one powerful morning. You become disciplined through hundreds of ordinary mornings executed the same way. Ordinary repetition builds extraordinary stability. I am consistent. Consistency simplifies life. When you know how you will act, decision-making becomes easier. Emotional swings reduce. Doubt decreases. You operate from certainty. Certainty is power. You have a choice. Redefine yourself daily based on mood, or reinforce the same identity daily through action. Choose reinforcement. The world may change. Your schedule may shift. Circumstances may fluctuate, but your standards remain intact. Adaptation in logistics does not require adaptation in character. Character remains fixed. I am reliable. Reliability removes anxiety. You do not wake up wondering whether you will perform. You already know the answer. You have proven it repeatedly. Proof eliminates fear. This does not mean perfection. It means return. If you slip, you return immediately. If you falter, you reset immediately, without self-punishment. Return speed defines strength. I trust myself. Trust is not built on intensity. It is built on repetition. The same wake time, the same pace, the same discipline, the same boundaries. You are training predictability within yourself. Predictability creates calm. You have a choice. Be a different person depending on circumstances, or be the same person regardless of them. Stability wins. When you act consistently in private, you remove the gap between who you say you are and who you actually are. That gap is where insecurity lives. Close it. Action closes it. I am consistent. This is the final layer of control. Not just what you do, but who you become through doing it repeatedly. The morning is no longer a struggle, it is expression. It reflects your identity automatically. No resistance, no negotiation, no performance. Just alignment. I am reliable. When identity is stable, discipline feels natural. You no longer rely on force, you rely on habit. Habit supported by structure. Structure supported by standards. Standards supported by repetition. You have a choice. Continue rebuilding yourself every day, or solidify who you are through consistent behavior. Solidify. I trust myself. Strong takeaway. Identity is built through repeated behavior, especially when no one is watching. Act the same whether alone or observed. Keep small promises daily. Reinforce your standard without exception. I am consistent. I am reliable. I trust myself.